I still stand behind the fact that this is one of the cheaper things you could do to your bike if you feel that occasional need to pull up next to someone on the street or at the track or where have you and blow the plastics off that shit. All right, man. Shit. I'm doing this shit my way. What's going on, guys? Road King Sino here, bringing you another quick episode of the Dirty Left Shoe Chronicles. This video is actually a special request video by a person by the name of Bikelife Percy. I had their link to their Instagram down in the description box below. But basically what they were asking about is informative video talking about sprockets. So that's what today's video is going to be about. Just giving you a little bit of information about sprockets and when you'll change them out. And I'm gonna get this chair, man, because I thought I could do it without it, but these my kneecaps need some lube, man. First thing we got to do is let's go over what sprockets are for a motorcycle. And it'll be easy to go over the definition, the actual true definition, Google definition. I'm just going to do it as plain and as simple as possible. And I know people are going to be like yada, 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 all in the comments of saying the technical term of this and the technical term of that. My job for you all is to bring it from the perspective so you can understand it easy like me. Because I'm not the technical type person. You know what I mean? It's got to make sense. As long as it makes sense, I don't care what the technical terms are. Front sprocket, rear sprocket. Now these are aftermarket sprockets. Your stock sprockets actually come in a stock size basically for your front and your rear. So this one right here happens to be a 15-tooth front sprocket. I think this was for a Kawasaki. And I believe the stock sprocket size for the Kawasaki is a 17-tooth. This right here is a aftermarket rear sprocket, Vortex brand. This is a 41-tooth. Stock for a Kawasaki, I believe, is a 39-tooth. Without these, your bike ain't going nowhere. And what I mean by that is your motor has a crankshaft on it, which, long story short, attaches to this front sprocket. And when this front sprocket rotates, it turns this back sprocket by way of chain, which creates what we call your drivetrain. Now, the thing about it is these components are what it takes to put the power from that motor to the ground. So now that leads me to the next thing of when would you change your sprockets? One, wear and tear and or swapping out your chain. That's actually considered good practice from a lot of people who do maintenance on their bikes or take it in for maintenance. If they change out their chain, meaning if they, put a new chain on or even upgrade their chain, a lot of times people would change their sprockets out. Sometimes sprockets can warp. They can also break teeth and things of that nature. Me, I don't do that all the time as far as when I change my chain. What I'll do is I'll take a look at my sprockets and just make sure, the teeth are, positioned properly, of course, and I'm not missing any teeth, which is these things. I'm not sure if the camera can pick it up, which is these things right here. Make sure none is chipped off or anything like that. And make sure they're not warped or bent in any way. Second reason you change out your sprockets is just good old-fashioned performance upgrade. If you understand how the concept of sprockets work, you can understand how they actually help you from a performance aspect on your motorcycle. So let me break it down into a simplified version for you. Okay, so easy scenario to explain how sprockets could work for you will be a race between you and a buddy of yours. It could be a light-to-light race. And in no way, shape, or form am I condoning going out street racing or anything of that nature. But we can all relate to our buddy lining up next to him, whether it's male, female, or whatever, you know what I mean? And us seeing who's going to get from one spot to another spot the quickest. Let's say the rider's skill levels are the same, okay? Their weight and size are the same. And let's say the type of bikes that they're riding is the same as well, okay? So pretty much, hypothetically speaking, it should be a close race, if not a tie. Well, that's when these little things come into play. Changing them out. One bike, let's say, has a stock setup on it, and we'll use these for an example, actually. Okay, so I believe the stock front tooth sprocket on a Kawasaki is On a ZX10, I think is a 17. Don't quote me on it. I'll check on it before I put this video up. And if it's a change, you'll see it with some type of text in this video. This is a 15 tooth, okay? The rear is a 39 tooth, and this is a 41 tooth. The smaller your front sprocket and the bigger your rear sprocket, the quicker your bike is going to accelerate. And how it translates is you and your buddy sitting there waiting for that light to drop, and you both hit it at the same time, okay? Your bike is going to accelerate quicker than this bike. It's going to be a little more aggressive depending on how you go as far as these. If you go 5 teeth up in the rear, you know, 1, 2 teeth down in the front, it's going to be very aggressive. So you need to make sure you maintain control of it. But all in all, if you do know your bike well and you maintain control of it, in theory, your bike is going to accelerate quicker than that bike that's next to you, even with the same setup, minus the difference in the sprockets. Now, the downside to a smaller front sprocket and a bigger rear sprocket is your top end speed is going to be lowered on the bike. Unless you have a speedo hill or anything like that, or something along the lines of that on your bike, it might read on a dash 186 or whatever mile per hour, but if you haven't did anything to configure or to calibrate or to account for these sprockets, it's the wrong reading. So you're not going 180 and 200 miles an hour and all of that. That's not how that works. It would be the exact opposite if you changed it around. So if you took and you put a larger than stock front sprocket and a smaller than rear sprocket on there, your bike is actually gonna get mile per hour out of it, meaning the top speed is gonna actually read out higher. Now understand this, these sprocket variations have limitations. So it doesn't mean that you can take a bike and, oh man, I'm gonna go 2 teeth up in the front and, you know, 5 teeth down in the rear, and, you know, I'm gonna hit a land speed record. When people do those land speed records and things like that, when it's about mile per hour and things, they prep the motor to do those things. So all internal components and things like that are configured for exactly what they're trying to do, which includes gearing as well. So don't think that just by changing these sprockets, whether you're going up, down on them, or what have you, that you're going to be able to go out here and compete with these guys that's doing land speed records, or when you're doing the opposite, competing with these guys that's doing quarter-mile runs and eighth-mile runs. From a street riding point of view, you can do that, but once you get into the point where these are all-out drag bikes and all-out land speed bikes that's built for that, you're not going to be able to compete with that, because these guys are actually going into their motors and making sure that the components that they're utilizing within their motor package is working for what they're trying to accomplish. Outside of racers, the other type of riders you might see that change out their sprockets is a stunt rider. They're notorious and definitely known for changing out their sprockets. If you ever seen that stunt bike rider and you see their back sprocket and their back wheel and it look like it's about as big as a dinner plate, maybe or bigger, they specifically did that. It allows them to be able to maneuver the bike the way that they need to, and it also makes it easier for them to get that front wheel up off the ground. All right, so those are just some of the things that you can do with your sprockets. It's obviously a few more things that you can add into there, which would be, you know, aluminum sprockets versus steel sprockets, 520 pitch versus 530 pitch. But we won't get into all of those things, man. We'll take it one step at a time. If you happen to learn something from this video, make sure you comment, like, subscribe, and share. If you got any more topics that you'd like to see me cover and do, make sure you leave in the comment section below. I'll catch y'all next time. Peace. Now your buddy's next to you. I feel like I broke my neck just now. Now it's a, what am I looking for? A downside. Okay. Now your front, what the f I just say? What the f am I talking about? Now the idea. Sorry, sir, could we please have some more? If you smell what the Rock is cooking. I can't smell shit. I know I need to see what the V-Rod. Hello. Sprockets, anyone?